Yo, welcome back to JWell Trap TV. Today we are covering Power Book 3, Season 2, Episode 3, Sleeping Dogs. Guys, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live or make a new video. If you guys like this content, make sure to support the channel. It really helps. That like button, please help me out. Okay, let's go. Let's get right into the recap. Let's go. Okay, so we're jumping in with the recap. Howard still wants Kanan to know that he is his father and he's going to continue to protect secret around Kanan shooting him. Famous has been kicked out of his house by his mother, and he is going around with Kanan selling mixtapes. Juke is still looking for her mom, who Detective Burke told her about. Zisa has a play uncle named Cartier. He's in the import-export business. They are working on doing a deal to release a single for Zisa. Neek's girlfriend seen Rock inside Juliana's store and went back and told Neek about it. Worrell joins Rock's team. Scrappy is killed by Rock for being a supposed snitch. Okay, so our first scene is in Juliana's liquor store, and we just have some kids playing around, and shortly after they leave, we see a gunman walk into the store. He points a gun at Juliana. We can see his jewelry, and then we can see that it's Neek. We leave the store scene and we come to Kanan leaving his house. He leaves his house, and outside waiting for him is Howard standing near his car. Howard asks him to get in. Kanan gets in. Howard starts telling him how he is his father. Kanan is pretty shocked. Howard says that, that Rock is going to tell him he's crazy. Howard says that DEFCON isn't really his father and that he is his father. He says that he found out recently and that he wants to be in Kanan's life. Kanan laughs it off, gets out the car, and is pretty shocked. We come to another scene where it looks like Rock is looking to expand the Jersey. They're in another apartment. It looks like she's trying to set up a similar situation to what she has over in the buildings back in New York. We get to meet a new gang member named Damon, and Rock is in the building. She's talking about expanding. Marvin is really hesitant. In the end, Rock appoints Damon to head this operation over in New Jersey. We now come in on the studio where Juke is singing. Blue and Crown are on the boards. Blue is really feeling Jukebox's track, and he says that her lyricism and vocals are amazing. Crown says that while Juke does make amazing music, that she needs to work on her look, that she needs to look more sexy. Blue doesn't like the advice that Crown is given, saying that she's just a kid, but he does tell Juke that Crown is right, and that if she wants kind of to be in the game and make this music work out, that she is going to have to work on that look. Juke doesn't like the advice and says that this is who she is and that she doesn't have to change up to be successful. Lou and Crown also exchange some blows on the Jessica situation. Lou isn't happy that Crown gave Jessica advice on the job, and Crown says that he would have done it for anyone. Renee is going around canceling all the members of the group, and then as usual, Marvin's eating in the middle of the meeting. He asks Marvin to tell the group about how he handles his issues. Marvin says that he's a very aggressive person. He confronts things. If someone makes him upset, then he just kind of blows up. He suggests that he try a breathing exercise, and the group conducts the breathing exercise. Kanan finds out from Famous that Scrappy committed suicide. Kanan doesn't really believe it's a suicide. Kanan cites numerous reasons on why it wouldn't make sense for Scrappy to commit suicide. Famous changes the subject and tells Kanan they need to focus on selling the mixtape. Kanan agrees to help with selling the mixtape, but he also continues to wonder why his mother didn't tell him that Scrappy committed suicide. Rock comes up to the safe house / store. The door's locked. Juliana is nowhere to be found. Rock tries to call Juliana and there's no answer. Rock enters the store with her own key and she sees that it's been robbed. She sees the tapes have been taken, and she sees that all of her money is missing from the back stash room. Lou is working in the studio and he gets a page from Rock, who is frantic about the money being stolen. He ignores the page and he goes back to working on music. We come back to the anger management scene where Renee tells Marvin that she's going to continue to ask him questions to compel him to participate in the group. Marvin tries to seduce Renee. Renee seems to like it. Kanan visits the drug tower under the cover of looking for Marvin. Instead, he steals a bunch of crack and he leaves. Rock goes to Juliana's house. He's frantically calling, banging on the doors, and no one answers. She looks into the back, she can't see anyone, and then she leaves. Rock meets up with Marvin and fills him in on the theft of the stash. Marvin says there's a big re-up coming up and they're going to need funding to make the transaction, and there's going to be problems if they can't. They also need to get Juliana back because she's related to the Colombians. Rock has a hunch on who's behind the robbery. We come to a scene where we see Kanan and Famous storing away mixtapes. Next we see Detective Burke hanging out with her dad. He tells her dad about how Howard's distant and doesn't always tell her what's going on. Her dad says that if he's her partner, they should be in sync and that their lives depend on them knowing what's going on in each other's heads. Kanan and Famous are now in the same corner as they were in the last episode, except now they are selling mixtapes with crack cocaine in them instead of mixtapes. And it's going a lot better. Next we have Zisa in the studio. Cartier, Lou, and Crown are behind the boards, and Cartier is boasting about Zisa's ability and how Bulletproof Records is going to have to do more that contain an artist like her. Rock comes in, she interrupts, she's very upset that Lou has not answered her calls. Cartier tries to flirt with her, she isn't interested in hearing what he has to say, takes Lou into another room, she complains, she lets him know about the situation with the robbery. She tells Lou to get on the block and that she's gonna go see Worrell. We come into the drug towers. The tenants are complaining about the conditions. One tenant in a wheelchair is complaining that he can never use the elevator. Marvin confronts this guy, tries to calm him down. The guy gets upset, tells him that he's not afraid of Marvin, and Marvin's gonna need to do more than pay them to fix the situation. Marvin uses what he's learned in his counseling sessions. He's able to resolve the situation by holding the elevator and letting him get on alone. We then switch to a sex scene with Howard. Howard is having sex with a prostitute. He asks about the prostitute's kids, and he tells her that the prostitute's kids probably know that she is a prostitute. This makes her upset, and she gets into a rage and tells him that at least her kids know that she would die for him and that there's nothing that she wouldn't do for them. This leaves Howard laying and sulking and thinking about Kanan. As the prostitute leaves, Burke is outside watching and she follows. Rock meets with Worrell. He said that he has heard nothing on the Neek situation. Rock tells Worrell he needs to look for Neek like his life depends on it. We come back to Raquel's house where Juke and Kanan are talking about the whole Howard situation. Juke asks Kanan if he thinks that Howard knows that Kanan was the one who shot him that night. Rock comes in and interrupts. Juke leaves, and Kanan lets Rock know that Howard stepped to him. Rock says that he's crazy, don't worry about it. Kanan also asks about Scrappy. Kanan asks Rock about the Scrappy situation. He says that it doesn't make sense. Rock decides to lie, and she goes with the suicide story. Burke is hanging out with an ex-girlfriend where she's talking about the whole Howard situation. Marvin reflects on his relationship with Juke. Marvin says that he screwed up his and Juke's relationship. We now switch to Kanan and Famous. Kanan tells Famous that he won't be able to steal any more drugs because Rock's team will eventually notice. Crown comes up and he's looking for Rock. Crown tells Famous that he knows some other folks who might be able to get us some studio time. Crown meets with Rock and he tells her that Lou is a problem for him in the studio and that he will sell her a portion of the studio, allow her to launder money through the studio if she gets Lou back on the streets and out of the studio. Rock cuts the meeting short because she gets a call. Duke is tailing her mom. We come to a scene outside of Neek's store. Worrell says that Neek calls him and wants to meet with Rock. Rock, Marvin, and Lou take Worrell into the store at gunpoint. When they get into the store, they find Neek, who has Juliana hostage. He's holding her at gunpoint. Juke follows her mom to a church. Her mom is singing, and we can see where she gets that amazing singing gift. The mother recognizes Juke. The mother makes a run for it and tries to catch Juke, but Juke is too fast. We come back to Rock, Neek, Lou, Marvin, and Worrell. Rock and Neek trade barbs. Neek tells Rock that he is now radioactive since coming out of jail and being set up, and that he wants peace in exchange for Rock's money. Rock agrees to free Neek. He saves Juliana, and she asks for her money back. Howard finds Kanan. He says that Rock is lying and calling him crazy. He says that he remembered that Kanan shot him. He says he's not going to tell anyone because he's his son. All right, guys, and that is it. That is the episode. That is Sleeping Dogs. Okay, so let me know in the comments what you guys thought about it. I would love to engage with you guys. I love to comment back on any comment that anyone leaves. So go ahead and leave your comment. I will respond. And go ahead and leave that like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, guys, help me make this channel bigger, please. Let's get it out there. Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks again. See you guys later. Peace.